We are so back. We're so back, and I couldn't be happier. I am, of course, referencing the Valentine's Day event, giving us a sneak preview of Bridgerton Season 4. It's really crazy how this has, once again, just given me the will to live. I cannot believe what we received. It was better than I could have imagined. I am highly anticipating this season because this is my favorite book and my second favorite couple, which I'll talk a little bit more about a little bit later, but it was perfect. I don't know what to say. What can I say? What can I say? It was perfection. So let's talk about it. First, I want to say that Yearn and Luke both looked absolutely spectacular, just stunning, gorgeous, amazing. I mean, who's surprised? But like Yearn's bow, her outfit, all the bows, period. Why I'm wearing purple, by the way, because it seems to me that purple, lavender, lilac, the color of first love, as stated in Bridgerton, is the color scheme that they are choosing for Benophie. And I couldn't be more pleased with that choice for many reasons, but I think it makes so much sense because Benedict is actually kind of the only Bridgerton sibling that we have yet to see fall in love or any type of romantic, like, deep kind of relationship ever. So Sophie will be his first love, and I believe he will be Sophie's. This is me my entire time. I would rub my hands together. Yes. The vibes are immaculate. What can I say? The vibes are immaculate. They're always immaculate with this cast. I always trusted in the casting team in general because they have cast this show so perfectly. It's literally not even funny. Like, it's a gift and a blessing that I really think people take for granted because these people are perfect for their roles. So I had full faith and trust in that to begin with, but like seeing them together interacting, they seem to have a very similar like sense of humor, and there was really good banter back and forth, and the vibes are just immaculate. Chef's kiss, what can I say? I just love this cast so much. They're honestly, and they just get it. They just get it. They understand the assignment to astronomical degrees that, quite frankly, no other cast has ever understood the assignment as much as the Bridgerton cast understands the assignment. They get these characters. They get these relationships. Even if and when the writing falters, you can always count on the actors to know what they're talking about. And they said so many things where I was like, well, yes. Well, yes, your mind. Her mind. His mind. They just get it. They get Benedict. They get Sophie. And they get Benedict and Sophie together. I'm blessed. The universe has smiled upon me today, okay? This is the best Valentine's Day ever. This is a gift to me. There's obviously a lot to discuss, but I am going to start by looking at the pictures. I did film my reaction to them, and I will be putting them in now. But I haven't looked at them since, so I will take a second to really look at the pictures yet again. I was gagged. I really and truly was so gagged.
I don't think he's tried very hard. I think it's sort of slightly,
there you are.
Yeah, slightly sort of Romeo vibes in the sense that he sort of doesn't really want to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know.
Yeah, slightly a reluctant masker. So,
oh, beautiful, yeah.
I know.
Look at that.
Oh,
gorgeous.
yeah, so it's whatever you think. Whatever you think he's dressed in.
Yeah. It's a lovely photo there.
Ooh.
It's very nice.
Ooh.
What have we got in the costumes and stuff that have been inspired?
So yeah, going back to the Midnight Summer's Dream theme, there's this cloud motif.
Shakespeare. You got the right. I got it.
There's clouds painted on the floor.
Yeah.
Someone reminded me today that there's a constellation on the floor. I don't quite remember what it is, but I think it's an Easter egg. So someone look out for that.
Huh?
And then, people's costumes are telling a story of where they're at emotionally or romantically in a few instances. Or we just did what Julia Quinn said in the book they were wearing. What Violet's wearing, I will say, really speaks to where she's at in her journey. So something there they are looking splendidly adorned.
That's
by our
Araminta in the middle, isn't it?
Araminta in the middle, played by the wonderful Katie Leung. Michelle Mao, who plays Rosamund, and Isabella Way, who plays Posey. Characters.
Love!
They're downstairs.
Love!
So this is the Bridgerton house and is one of our fantastic sets. And, Bridgerton house, even the downstairs, is beautiful and kind of like a dream. Like I would 100% live in the Bridgerton downstairs. Whereas I don't know, when you go over to like the Penwood house, to the kitchen, you might not want to.
Oh my god.
Saying something. Can I say my cottage? Do we know this? Not a cottage. Spoiler alert. It's a mansion.
We've got a picture of the cottage.
We've got a picture of my cottage. I just say.
Yeah, that's.
I know. No.
Damn.
This was one of those locations that when our locations team showed us this, I was like, this is exactly how I pictured my cottage. It was amazing.
It is similar to how I pictured it too. It's a lot like bigger,
and,
nicer, but
maybe within striking distance of that cottage, there's a lake. It's entirely possible.
See, nobody's reacting in the audience, which is how I know that these bitches didn't read the book. At least a lot of them.
Those things will be in the season.
And that should be me in there.
And yeah, I do think that this.
Sure.
Okay. One day we'll drop it.
They just showed
I'm
Poland.
pretty happy Penelope
I need to see that
is
shit again.
publicly whistled down.
Put that back
so, you know, that's a lot to navigate with.
Put that back up.
Majesty.
I can't breathe. What is the sun? How dare they? And thank you. And more, please. It's... I don't know how to describe how perfect it is. It genuinely defies logic and any intelligible speech. I don't know how to describe to you what this does to my brain and body. And I actually think I might like it better than A Little Balcony. Because I'm sure they're going to do a shot of the moon. They're still going to do that. But the lighting, there's something about it, and all the flowers. We love a gazebo. We love a gazebo type infrastructure. Lest we not forget. Lest we never forget the Canthony gazebo scene. He's kissing her fucking hand. Did he do... I need to reread the book. I've already read it a million times, but, like, I need to reread the book, because he did, didn't he? He took off her glove, and I think kissed her hand. He's such a slut. He's such a crazy, unhinged slut for that. That is so crazy. And he, like, took her, like, 5 seconds after meeting her. The dream. Yeah, I love her look. I love both of them, actually. The way they complement each other, the dark and the light. But, you know, he's very undone. She's very made up. The detail is exquisite. It is so perfect. It's not necessarily what I envisioned when I read about the silver dress, but it's so good. It's so good. And the mask is really good, because his mask is so small, you can obviously tell who he is. Hers is big enough that I could kind of sort of buy that, like, maybe you wouldn't be able to recognize her. So just logistically speaking, that's great. Okay, and period. And, well, yes. And where is this taking place? It's beautiful. It's stunning. They talked about it being a Midsummer Night's Dream, darker vibe, like a midnight masquerade. Any Phantom of the Opera heads in here? I was, like, so confused when I first saw the first picture of them because of her dress, but I was like, oh, that must be her masquerade look. Araminta in black is very interesting to me because I was like, wait, are they changing it that she's, like, in mourning? I think she's just supposed to be like a bad bitch that always wears black. And you know what? I can't fault her for that. And she's kind of an icon and legend for that. Yeah, they all look amazing. Even just in this, I'm like, yes, the characters, perfect. Rosamund kind of like scoping out the competition. She's very like straight-laced, kind of proper, kind of judgmental. You can see her kind of mirroring Araminta. Araminta's even more dark-sided. It's literally just a picture and I'm like, she's dark-sided, evil, like you could see the machinations. And then Posey, you know, just looking upward, kind of in a daze, much more sweet vibes, like sweet-natured, good-natured, kind of curious, a little bit more clueless, a little bit less in control. We'd love to see it, and it's perfect. And yes, and absolutely. Oh! Okay. Okay. These, you know, married hairstyles for Paulina, they're interesting. I'll give them that. I haven't come to a consensus, but they're interesting. Everything that I've seen of both of them, I'm like, oh, okay. They're married hair. They gotta make them not as hot. You know what I mean? They gotta say, okay, let's, you know, take the gas off the brakes. Hello? Foot off the gas? Let's put the brakes on and take the foot off the gas, because we gotta be looking at Benedict and Sophie. And how could I not look at Benedict and Sophie? Let's be real. Even in and around other seasons, I'm always looking. Respectfully, I'm always looking. I'm always appreciating the beauty and sexiness of everybody. Because that's part of the draw of the show. This is, like, the point. You know what I mean? Like, it being Colin season didn't make me forget about Benedict. Or Antony, for that matter. And vice versa. So, but yes, the adorable baby. Oh my god, the red hair. Oh, I could cry. I could cry. We see Violet in here. We see what could be Eloise, I guess. Yeah, it must be Eloise. And then we see Hyacinth. Hyacinth looks so old in this, and it's literally the back of her head, but I'm like, she looks like an adult, which makes a lot of sense given what Jess Breno said about her and Eloise kind of teaming up this season, and that being comedic, and also Hyacinth wanting to enter into the marriage mark, which they did plant seeds of last time. I don't know where this is. I need to do more sleuthing, but, you know, it's just yet another queen look. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, well, yeah, this is common fare for her. This is every day. Nothing new. Not batting an eye, but it is, you know, generally speaking, amazing, and the production looks amazing. As always, I feel like so many of those things should go unsaid. This kind of reminds me of the indoor-outdoor garden that was in Queen Charlotte, but we'll see. Could this be Benedict seeing her? Spotting her? It could be. It really could be. This is crazy. This is just crazy, and, well, yes. And, well, yes, and it's, hot and sexy. What can I say? What can I say? What do you want me to say? Okay? He looks great. I like the vibe also because it fits with his character. He's not really putting in a lot of effort. It's kind of half-assed. He is channeling, like, pirate, kind of. I'm like, okay, someone was inspired by Colin coming back because why is this the same outfit he wore? But I like the detailing on the collar. That's really nice. Obviously, he's talking to debutantes, or they're talking to him, rather, probably. So, you know, he's maybe engaging a little bit more. Maybe he's trying to avoid them in this as well. Wouldn't be surprised with that. But, you know, we know he has to take a bit of a turn into that idea a little bit more because of what they've said about Rosamund. And also just how he's going to be interested in Sophie. But it's kind of an exception if they keep it in the way it was in the book. Okay, Violet and Marcus. I mean, period. They both look good. We got a lot of purple. I thought it was interesting what she said about them kind of going deeper. I was like, okay. Oh! Well, yes, they knew what they were doing, and they did it perfectly. And it's everything I could have wanted and more. And the lighting is spectacular. The lighting and the color grading already seems so much better than season 3, and I am truly thanking my lucky stars. Like, I can't express to you how much that means to me. But especially for this scene and this part of the episode, it's just so magical and dreamlike and fairy tale and evoking kind of, you know, Midsummer Night's Dream, those kinds of things makes a lot of sense to me. The mask is Gorgina. She's Gorgina. Look at the bow at the back. Her hair, amazing. Absolutely. Everything about it is perfection. Couldn't be better. Literally could not be better. I think her hand is very interesting in this. They're so close. Oh my god. Woo. Oh, my cottage! Now, here's how I know these bitches that were invited to this event in the audience didn't read the book. Is because when she said, oh, my cottage confirmed, I said, oh! My cottage confirmed? My cottage confirmed? This is the best news of my life. And everyone was dead silent. It was crickets. I was like, how are you not reacting to my cottage? That's how I know you bitches didn't read the book. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine, I'm fine. But, well, yes, and this is perfect. It is definitely grander than I had envisioned, but it certainly is the same, like, vibes and architectural structure. Like, Jess said that, you know, when the production design team, like, or the location scouts came to her with this, she was like, this is perfect, and I would agree. I would agree. This is so my cottage. It's so my cottage coded. It's literally my cottage. Sorry. Oh, wowza. Wowza. Not only do I love the idea that we're getting more upstairs, downstairs, that we're expanding the world, that we're looking at other classes, we're looking at class differences, we're looking at other struggles. We're getting a peek into another world that has been completely irrelevant thus far, but is very important and actually very interesting. Not only do I love that, and we're going to get to know some of the staff that we've seen for years now, like, actually get to know them a little bit more. It was giving Downton Abbey the second I saw it. I was like, okay, Downton. Still beautiful. Amazing. Her in that little outfit and hat is unbelievable. And yet again, we're doing purple. We're doing lavender. That's always been their footmen and maids get up, so we expected it. We knew this. I could theoretically envision what Yaren would look like, but it's better than I could have predicted. She just looks better. I think they gave her a slightly different... No, it's the same. It looks like the same hat, but it just looks better on her. Oh, it just looks good on her. I'm like, well, yes, I can see the yearning. I can see the lust. I can see Benedict going absolutely bananas bonkers over this woman right here just walking past him in the maid's outfit. Like, what is he to do? Can we blame the man? Look at her. It's so delicious to me. Okay, we got Varley. That's also a little bit interesting, seeing more of just servant class in general, and Varley might be included in that. Obviously, talking to Portia. This is probably her dress, I would assume. The fact that Portia isn't going to move out is so funny to me, and actually, not only do they want more Polly Walker, but it makes sense to me. It's like Portia would not. You know what I mean? And I would like to see Portia and Colin beef still. Please, thank you. Well, yes. I wonder if any of these are, like, Korean patterns or... Because they always infuse details from the culture and heritage into, like, the production design or the costume, so I wonder if any of this in here is relevant. This is either before or after the ball, for sure. Looks like they're looking at Sophie, I would assume. This is definitely either before or after the ball. It's, like, before when they're leaving and they're like, okay, bye, fuck you. Or when they come back and they're like, there was a sus girl there, and what's going on? But yeah, fabulous. She looks so good. Which is perfect. It's perfect for Araminta. Araminta is the epitome of that. She is. So, you know, I like that she's fabulous. I like that she's so dark. She's imposing. She's intimidating. Very interesting. Again, more of the staff. We love the purple. We've seen these people forever, Footman John. And now maybe we'll get a little bit more. Oh my god, the staff clocking their tea? The staff is going to clock their tea. The staff is going to clock their tea so hard because Sophie's going to come in. They've known this family for years and they're going to be like, so what's cooking over here? What was that? What was that look? What was that little touch? I can't wait. Oh, that's all that they have there. Oh my god, now I'm just looking at pictures of them. They look so good. Everybody looked really good, including Jess, by the way, including Golda, including Hugh. They actually all ate that, and they killed that, and they look gorgeous. And I do want to say that this event made me appreciate Jess Brownell a little bit more. She has a charisma and a presence about her in and of herself. Obviously, that's not necessary in order for her to be a good showrunner or a good writer. But when we're talking about press and promotion, it's really helpful to have someone that has kind of a finger on the pulse, that is themselves intriguing, and she's always well put together. You know, like, she's beautiful, and I really liked her vibes. Felt like she was one of us. Also, the thing she was saying, I was agreeing with. I was like, well, yes. And yes, you and me are like this. We're on the same wavelength. So I really appreciated that, and I thought all of them did a good job. I like that it's less of the cast for something that is farther away from the premiere, obviously, because they don't have as much kind of to show or to talk about, so it makes sense that they're distilling it down into just the leads. And I also kind of actually liked the questions that were asked that were like, okay, what other line would you like to say, or what's your favorite set, things like that, because it's a way to cultivate promotion and clips and buzz surrounding the season, the actors, and the characters without actually giving anything away, which obviously they really can't at this point. So I kind of liked that. I thought it was pretty well executed. Even their little, you know, mentioning of the Candlelight concerts, I was like, okay, I'm gonna let you rock, because I did go to a Candlelight concert, Bridgerton Candlelight concert. It was beautiful. It was stunning. Made me emotional, actually, weirdly. Speaking of emotional, I could never have anticipated how emotional I got at some of these pictures and descriptions and things like that. Now, it's very touching, it's very heartening. I have such, like, deep and abiding and just abundant gratitude for the casting directors and the cast. They understand the assignment. It has floored me every time. They have never failed to just absolutely gobsmack me with how well they understand these characters, how much they honor the source material in spirit, if nothing else, how much they understand the dynamics, how interested they are, how invested they are, how committed they are, and how much they are their characters. It is so perfectly cast. And the things that Yerin and Luke were saying, I was like, you get it. Like, you just get it. It's such a privilege. It is really such a privilege. And I hope that people in the fandom or whatever feel grateful for that, because that cannot be said for all actors. That cannot be said for all projects. It is a rarity. And I just genuinely am so grateful, and it, like, touches my heart. And it's like, oh, they're in such safe hands. They understand, they get it, they have respect and reverence for it, and I love to be on a similar playing field and wavelength in that way. It sucks to, like, care about a character or a story, and then the actor doesn't give a shit, you know? So seeing their dedication and their psychoanalysis of their own characters and their relationship was really heartening to me and really made me excited. So obviously Jess was talking about all of the kind of returning characters, where we're going to see them picking up in season 4. Anthony and Kate will be back, confirmed. Simone Ashley, she confirmed it as if it hadn't been confirmed before, even though it was on the rocks for a while. And I swear to God, if they don't put a little bit, actually a lot of bit, more respect on Simone Ashley's name, that's for another video. I could get into that, but I'm like, well, yes. That should be a given. It's, like, really crazy to me that they're like, oh, we could confirm. I'm like, well, yeah. That's how it should be. Anthony with the beard, by the way, that gagged me. I need to see it again to know if I like it. I mean, I like it just, like, upon principle. And I like everything Johnny Bailey. Actually, I couldn't not like anything that involved him or that he did or that was on his face or his body or anything. So actually, I love it. Actually, I've decided I love it. So yeah, we're going to see their baby, as we should. Edmund come home to us. We're going to see Paula, and we did see them. And I love to see it. And I'm excited for their storyline. I'm excited for shenanigans a little bit. Like, I just want sprinkles of shenanigans with Portia, like, living in the same house as them, because I just know that's going to stress Colin the fuck out. And I would love to see that. I want to see them blissed out. I want to see them in paradise. I want to see them happy. I do want to see them fucking. I mean, what can I say? I do want to see them together in marital bliss. And we all know what that includes. Come on now. But I just want to see them happy. I just, in all seriousness, just want to see them happy. I love seeing them with their child. I love seeing them as parents. I think it's going to be so good. But also, you know, it'll be interesting to see kind of how they follow up with Whistledown. I know she talked about that adding a new complication to the Queen and Penelope's relationship. So I'm really intrigued about that and how they're going to kind of carry Whistledown through and how that's going to affect things. They have a chance to do some interesting things with Sophie and Benedict in particular with this, so I'm just really excited to see how that's going to go, and it seems like they might have a good amount of screen time, and the truth is, we all know it, Paulin is their favorite. It has always been, will always be that way, so I don't think they're going to get sidelined quite as much as Anthony. I am happy to see more of Paulin, see more of them happily ever after, the way their relationship has grown and changed, and them as parents, and all that type of stuff. And I think that there are roads and opportunities to expand upon their storyline and make them really integral. I mean, Lady Whistledown has always been integral, much more so than the books in the show, so this makes sense to me. Eloise, Violet's apparently gonna be, like, putting her back on the marriage mart, is gonna be focusing on getting her a spouse, which I guess structurally makes sense because we have to start leading up to Eloise's season, which will probably be next. I guess it's possible they could do Francesca, but it seems like maybe Eloise would be the next best bet because we've had so long with her at this point and there's such affinity for her. that I just think that would be smarter. I'm very interested to see what they do with Eloise this season, because it's a formative and very important season for her to prepare her to be a leading lady, to be in a relationship, to be wrestling with the idea that, oh, you can be a feminist and also, I don't know, be loved, which is something that we see in media a lot, often by male writers. It's this idea that a woman, a female character, can't be, if she's strong and independent and badass, then she has to be alone. And I really abhor that. It just really grinds my gears. I just think that is such a dismal and, quite frankly, misogynistic principle and idea to be, like, projecting into the world. So I am going to be very interested to see how they turn that on its head and how Eloise learns and accepts that, and we can set an example for love not being this thing that necessarily shackles you or that strips you of your rights or autonomy or freedom or individuality. That would be great. I would love that. Let's show that. Let's show that. Maybe she can be loved, like, for who she is. You know what I mean? So that makes sense, like, generally speaking, but I'm like, Violet, I just did a video defending you. Don't do this to me. Don't make me have to make another one. But I think that it's very interesting. She was talking about Hyacinth is very eager to enter the Marriage Mart and to kind of, like, debut early, which we did see seeds of at the beginning of last season. So I really like the follow-up with that. They talked more about Hyacinth and Gregory kind of coming into the fold a little bit more. Luke did, especially. And I'm always interested to see that. Like, they are, you know, pivotal characters. All of them are. They all deserve the time and effort and energy, and just in the pattern, you have to go about it that way. Like, you have to start setting up the younger siblings' arcs and characters as the seasons go on. So I'm not surprised by that, but I am interested in that. I think Hyacinth looks so old in that, which I love. But she said that there would be Hyacinth and Eloise shenanigans, which I love. I love. The brief moments we've gotten with them have been hilarious. Hyacinth is actually a comedic icon and genius. Underappreciated. And it makes so much sense to me that she would be eager to join the Marriage Mart, just kind of to be a little shit. Like, it's not even, I don't think Hyacinth is, like, necessarily like, oh, pretty dresses and da-da-da. That's not necessarily the appeal. She just wants to be a part of it. She just wants to be in the mix. She wants to know what's going on. She's a little bit of a, like, troublemaker. She's a little nosy. Like, she wants to be in everybody's business. She doesn't want to be left out. So I think that makes a lot of sense for her, and that tension will be very interesting. Gregory might be going off to Eton, which, again, makes sense. What else? Francesca and John are married, obviously. I was so happy to see Victor Ali in all of these, you know, on-set things. I love him. I think he's a great John. I really would like for people to respect and appreciate him more, because I think he's kind of incredible. But I also, at the same time, if him having a little bit less attention on him means less, I don't know, hatred and vitriol, then I guess that's preferable, because the way that people talk to, particularly the people of color in the show, is just horrific. And, you know, I know Masali Beduza has gotten a lot, and I know that also, like, Victor Ali, at least, again, I don't know any of these people. I'm well aware of that, okay, these parasocial relationships, but, like, the vibe I get from him is that he's a pretty private guy, he's pretty personal, he's very, like, normal, he comes off as that, as does Hannah Dodd, for that matter, which I think is a really good pairing for them, and I'm glad that they kind of have each other, that they can go hand in hand in this, but, you know, I want him to have his privacy. People need to leave these people alone. My God. Stop harassing these people. Stop talking about their partners. Stop stalking their friends and family. Stop sending hate. Like, what? It truly is baffling to me. Like, people are just so weird. Leave them alone. Leave them alone! Anyway, that's again, another conversation for another day, but just, Lord have mercy. But I'm very happy to see, I personally am happy to see Victor Ali. I think he did a great job as John. He really, like, touched my heart, pulled on my heartstrings. I think he is a talented, a handsome, seemingly very kind man. And we love to see that. So, they did mention Michaela. I was like, oh, Michaela mentioned. But yeah, I mean, we know that they left off going to Scotland. Eloise joined them, so that will be interesting to see what the fallout from that is. They also set up, like, Eloise is gonna find her place and, like, discover herself, so, and change the world or whatever, so I'm interested to see what the, like, fallout and the repercussions from that are. Like, did she find a new passion, or, you know, what was it like for her to kind of get outside of her bubble and see different perspectives and not be so sheltered? I also just love generally the themes of not being sheltered and kind of popping the bubble a little bit, where it's like, okay, we've been in this very privileged environment this entire time, and so I'm very excited to see another side of it, another side of this world, this society, this culture. They did say that they'd expand on the Queen and Lady Danbury's friendship, which I thought was very interesting. I don't know what to make of that. Also, Lady Danbury as a mentor for the Mondriches. Again, those are kind of two storylines that I'm just like, okay, we'll see. It just depends on what they do with that. I'm not exactly sure how much that means. And to be fair, I take everything they say with a grain of salt because I've been burned before. You know what I mean? Like, you can't take them so literally. Like, when they said this would be the most faithful book adaptation, I was gagged. But I'm suspicious of that. You know what I mean? I'm not believing that full out. Although I think from what they've talked about, it does kind of seem to be shaking out that way. Which I love. Again, it's my favorite book. I will defend it, and I will make many videos discussing it, why I like it so much. I know there's a lot of hate on this book, which I just think is, what adjective? Silly. I think it's a little silly. And I would like to clear this book's name and these characters' names, and I would like to defend them. So, I love this book, and I think there is a lot that they can pull from it. Obviously, my cottage. Lake scene confirmed? Maybe. Again, I'm still suspicious. I'm so scarred from season 2, guys. Like, I can't even tell you. Just, like, it's in my bones now. Lake scene confirmed. Masquerade obviously confirmed. They said it as though it was a surprise that would be in episode 1. No fucking shit. But I love everything that I've seen in the Masquerade. We love the production design, the makeup, hair, and costumes all coming together for this. It's something new. They haven't really done this. It's such an undertaking. I feel like they're very elaborate with the Queen in this way, where this seems like an event where, like, they're like that for everybody, and people are wearing wigs. Like, Benophie looked like she was in, like, a pirate costume. I think she was in a long blonde wig, so funny. And, like, you know, I'm just so excited to see all the various costumes. They talked about some crazy stuff, like antlers, and just, it's an interesting tradition, too. Jess Brownell talked a little bit about the historical accuracy of that was a thing that happened, and there was kind of more freedom and more risky behavior because your identity is concealed, and you're trying to conceal it in a couple different ways, and there are different ways to do that, and people choose different avenues to go down for that. So I thought that was very interesting. It looks very dark, looks very mysterious, looks very dramatic. Like, it just has a vibe that we have not seen, I feel like, on any other ball, any other event, as it should be. It's the Masquerade. Come on now. They did say they were 2/3 of the way through filming, which I found very interesting. It feels like they haven't done anything, but I guess they have been filming. You know what I mean? Like, it's been such, like, radio silence, I feel like. I haven't heard from any of them. I understand they're all busy and, you know, you have to keep things under wraps, but I just kind of forget that they're even filming because there's really no evidence of it. So that was heartening to hear. We love to see it. We love to hear it. 2/3 of the way. When are they going to release this? I have no idea. It will be 2026, they said. I think that's confirmed. And that makes sense to me given Netflix's releases schedule, but I will be waiting on bated breath. What can I say? Like, they have me. They could release it in, you know, 30 years, and I'd be like, Benedict and Sophie season! You know, like, I'm just eating out of the palm of their hand, and they know it. And it's annoying. And they know I'm gonna eat it up, whatever they give me. But they did give a lot. I was kind of surprised by how much they gave. They gave many different stills and that video, which we will talk about. And that was more than I had even been expecting. So, thank you. I'm grateful. Thank you. They talked about the nature and kind of pattern of Bridgerton, exploring different types of love, different tropes, and that this year would be forbidden love. To me, I'm like, well, it's class difference, but okay. But yeah, that's a subcategory. I mean, it's a result of class difference. It is forbidden love. Although they really did try and do that with Kate and Anthony, I want to point out. Like, they kind of made that the trope. At least one of them. They did I can't talk about season 2. But, very true. It is forbidden love. And we have yet to see that in any way. Well, we have actually, what's interesting is we have seen it. Because we saw it with Anthony and Sienna, and then we saw it with Theo and Eloise. So they keep hitting on these ideas that this can't exist, and it's doomed, and, you know, it just is impossible. And in those cases, it is. So I'm very interested to see that kind of crumble a little bit. I think it'll be surprising and disarming for a lot of the characters. And I'm just excited to see how everybody reacts, especially Violet. They have a good opportunity to really do Violet some good as a mother in this, in her reaction to that, and hopefully support of their being together. So I think that's very interesting. She also talked about shaking Benedict out of his normal routine, which is like, she was like, I don't know, gallivanting, fucking, like, I was like, I mean, and yes, what else is there to say? So shaking him out of his normal routine, and the only person that could do that is Sophie. And you know what? Call me basic. Call me a basic bitch. Call me a pick-me. Call me whatever you need to call me, but I love stories like that. I mean, she's not like other girls. Not in the bad way, but like, it's just, I love a story where it's like, oh, she changes everything. You know, it's and to be fair, it happens every season, and that's kind of a staple of Bridgerton. Certainly with Kate and Anthony, it's like, okay, she's the only person in the world that I could ever overcome these things for, and, you know, she's just so unlike anybody else, and blah, blah, blah. So I love that type of stuff, and I think Benedict and Sophie, at least in the book, are the biggest and, like, prime example of this, where it's like, this person. And kind of instant love, sort of, but it's deeper than that. Oh, I can't wait to get into this book, guys. I have so much to say. But yeah, I mean, it takes a whirlwind like Sophie to really shake him up. And it's so interesting when you think of Benedict, no matter how much he's been through, no matter how many people he's been through, it's like he hasn't been affected at all. You know what I mean? Like, he's calm, cool, and collected. He's cool as a cucumber. He doesn't feel anything. He's just like, and what about it? Like, he's just kind of coasting, chilling, having fun, maybe. And he's never been touched. He's never been, you know, he's never been in love. He's never had someone inspire any of those feelings or any of those experiences. So I think it's really going to turn his world upside down, and I just can't wait to see it. I love a man's world being turned upside down by a woman. It's how it should be. Jess also talked about Yaren bringing a feistiness and a vulnerability to Sophie that was perfect. And when she said that, like, those descriptors are just so perfect and so apt for Sophie as a character and, like, who she is to her core. And I can so envision that. I can see that. I can already see Yaren bringing that to Sophie. And I think it's so important that they understand those elements of her character. Yaren also went on to say that, you know, Sophie's very headstrong. And the way that she described Sophie was genuinely, like, moving to me, because I was just like, well, yes, you get it. And also, here's the thing. Here's the elephant in the room. You know, I didn't really totally understand, like, why Offer from a Gentleman was my favorite. But as the season's coming up, you know, I've psychoanalyzed it more, and I'm like, oh, it's because you are Sophie. The way that I am Sophie, the way that I think maybe there has never been another character ever that has been anything even close to me than Sophie is kind of crazy. So, like, and I think I did start to cry about my own trauma while watching the event, just because, I don't know, it made me emotional seeing some version of, like, a representation of that. And I think the way that she talked about it was so spot on, where she's very headstrong, she's very independent, she's not a damsel in distress, which is, I think, crucial and integral to understanding her character and the dynamic. And I think there's a lot of misconceptions about the dynamic between Benedict and Sophie, which, again, I would be happy to expand upon later. But she talked about that she craves and yearns for love. Like, she is a romantic, but she's afraid of it. And she struggles to kind of risk it and to understand that she can have love without giving up her dignity and honor and self-respect. And I really love that she said that, because that is one of my favorite things about Sophie. She has these standards, she has these morals, she has so much self-love, self-respect, integrity, dignity. She's so dignified. She's so, it's really remarkable. But she's also in love. And she's not going to let one overshadow the other. Like, she makes it so that they have to coexist. She will not just give up her identity. She won't give up her beliefs. She won't abandon herself for someone else or for love, which I think is so important and such a beautiful message and something that a lot of people need to have exemplified for them, because the truth is that a lot of people do kind of give up their self-respect and their dignity and their standards and all sorts of things when getting into romantic relationships. So to see an example of her standing firm and digging her heels in and really having such initial love for herself that outweighs and overcomes kind of anything else is so important, and that's such a great character to have. And to be honest, I don't think, not that there isn't self-love and self-respect and dignity in the other heroines that we've seen, but Sophie's just different in this way. I just feel like she's not going to compromise in a lot of ways that other female leads might have. And I think that that's very powerful to see. And yeah, I just relate to her a lot. I mean, we have similar circumstances, quite literally, Cinderella, like, quite literally, which is...
So, when I was reading Araminta, I was literally...
I was like, well, yeah, it really do be like that. Like, truly, it really, truly do be like that. And that kind of environment is so poisonous. It's so toxic, it's so harmful, it's so traumatic to be in an abusive environment like that. And to be at the behest of other people. And I think Sophie is very kind. She has a kind, good heart. She's empathetic. But she's also very strong. And I think that a lot of times, especially in female characters, they really struggle to have those two things exist. Like, she can be strong and independent and, you know, kind of hard-headed, and also still be nice, still be caring, still be kind. And, you know, her resilience, her avoidance of love or her fear of that, while also simultaneously really craving it and needing it and wanting it, but also understanding that it doesn't, like, make her whole. It's not that she's this incomplete person looking for someone to complete her or anything like that. She is her own person, and she's complete, and she's happy, and she loves herself. But she deserves to be loved by someone else. And so I thought the way that they talked about that was so beautiful and so touching, and just personally really resonant for me. I can't believe that I didn't realize it. I was like, why do I like this book so much? It's because Sophie is me. I literally never relate to fictional characters. Like, I cannot even think of a single one that I'd be like, yeah, that's like me. But the more that I think about Sophie, the more I'm like, why are we kind of like this? Why, that's my twin. By the way, I had a twin in the womb that I absorbed. Maybe it was Sophie, who knows? So, yeah, I'm just really excited about the way that they talked about that. I think there's some really powerful themes and messages in there that would be very useful. And also, I really liked what Jess said about the kind of thematic element being that love is meeting in the middle of fantasy and reality. And Benedict lives in a fantasy world, and Sophie lives in a harsh reality. And those two needing to kind of merge. So she has trouble letting herself dream or get carried away and kind of think that this is a possibility. Like, she's been so mistreated her entire life. She has walls up. She is protective of herself in that way. So it's hard for her to open up to the possibility that things could be good because it's been so bad her entire life. So relatable. And, you know, Benedict doesn't really know anything of that. He's lived a charmed and privileged life. And I think that that conflict with them is going to be just absolutely delicious. And I think they're both going to do an amazing job. And I think it's true. I think that's a great message, that there is a bit of fantasy in, you know, a romance and in falling in love, but there's also reality, and there needs to be a healthy dose of both. You need to meet somewhere in the middle. And I think also what she said about Benedict being a little bit different in some of the character motivations was really good, because I read the book, obviously, with Luke Thompson's Benedict in mind. Like, I read it after the first season, so I already was kind of adding that element to it, where I was like, okay, Book Benedict might be doing something that's like, kind of, but I could see how it could work with TV Benedict. Like, I could see how they would slightly change that, and it would make a lot more sense. So him having more, like, delicacy going about wooing Sophie and whatnot makes a lot of sense to me. I think I already kind of inherently had that in my mind when I was reading, and kind of accounted for that, which might be part of the reason why I don't have as many problems with him in that book. Just because I was like, well, that's never going to happen on the show. Like, I just kept being, and honestly, for all the books, I was like, okay, they're never going to do that. Colin's never going to do that. Anthony's never going to say that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, it's just not going to happen. So I almost filter it out. But I think that makes sense to be faithful, like, to the story line and the kind of, that the plot points lend itself to adaptation. But some of the nuances and intricacies are going to be changed a little bit and brought to life more, and she talked about Araminta and Rosamund being more, like, humanized. They still are villains, but you can't help but kind of humanize someone when they're played by a real person, they're being embodied. And I think that was a good point. I think Jess made a lot of really good points. I think she understands the assignment. She gets it. She gets it. At least that's what I got from this. I was like, oh, she understands. They seem like they're on the right track. There's some really interesting things that I hadn't thought of that I was like, very interesting that they brought up, that I'm excited to see them expand on, and I just couldn't be happier or more excited. Like, it's really crazy. It is really, really crazy, and I think this season is going to gag people so hard, and they're not even ready, and they don't even understand. Truly. Really and truly, they don't understand what they're in for. But it's just bellissima. Like, it's just gorgeous. It's just... It has depth and nuance, and they appreciate it so much, and both Yearn and Luke just seem so, like, humble and normal and appreciative, and they love the job, and they love the characters, and they love the work, and that's just so important, and very touching to me. I feel very, like, lucky as a fan of this, franchise, to have them at the helm, to have everybody at the helm, really, and to have the casting department cast such incredible people. It's really a blessing. What do you mean, kite? What are you talking about, kite? What's the kite? This better not be another hot air balloon. But what do you mean, a kite? What do you mean first scene they filmed was a kite? I think I basically just did that when I saw that. I was like, kite? Kite? What does kite mean?
Can I ask, this isn't a spoiler, was it kite?
I could possibly say.
It's not something from the book, so I think you could say that word. Was that the first thing you should?
Yeah, it's the
A
first.
kite?
Yeah. Kite.
Kite, see.
A kite?
Do you know what that
birds
means? Wow, hidden secrets.
But yeah, I think it's always nice for the first day. Well, the whole...
I'll figure it out. Don't you worry. My sleuthing skills will be... My antennas are perked up now. Like, I am on the lookout for a kite. Very interesting. And then she said it would be an emoji. Kite. Wonder if that's, like, symbolism. I'm just giving it more meaning. They're like, let's have a Regency kite. That would be kind of cute. And I'm like, so it's about the two worlds colliding and being brought back down to Earth, but also flying still, and how Sophie and Benedict are, like, pulling and pushing on each other and pushing each other to see the other side, all this stuff. Like, I'm, here I am, writing essays. I wouldn't have it any other way, okay? Here's the thing. I also understand that a lot of media analyses, just generally speaking, like, it's not a given that the writer or the creators intended a lot of these interpretations or a lot of these metaphors and these deep things. I have always understood that. I really fell in love with analyzing Shakespeare in particular. Again, Luke Thompson and me are like that. He mentioned Shakespeare, he mentioned theater, he is a theater man's, and I love to see it. I love to see that. Everything that I've seen of him, theater, has been really great. He has a deep, abiding love for Shakespeare, as do I, so we relate on that level. But, I really fell in love. I was so obsessed with analyzing Shakespeare and breaking it down. And I was, like, well aware of certain things that I was saying where I was like, I don't know that William Shakespeare really thought he was doing all this. But that's what I took from it. And that's kind of a beauty in and of itself, and that's an art in and of itself. And it lends itself to, exploration and creativity and inspiration, and I think that's very beautiful. So don't mistake me when I say certain things. I'm not saying that everything, I think they really intended every single thing that I ever say, but that's, when I think about it and I analyze it and I look at it through my perspective, that's what I see. I also thought what Luke said about his life being very sectioned out and separated was interesting, that he's kind of been waiting in the wings and he hasn't quite found his thing, and why is that? God, they get it so bad! They just get it so bad! They understand the assignment! Ugh! We're like this! Like, we're scholars of the art. We're scholars of the characters, because this is what I'm saying. I'm saying the same thing. So he was talking about how, like, you know, he hasn't quite found his thing, and is that intentional? Is that just luck? Is that circumstance? Or is there something deep that he has this fear of commitment and he's unable to do it? And just knowing that he is even, like, thinking about it that way is so, not surprising to me, but again, just heartening. I'm just like, well, yes. But he talked about how everything in Benedict's life is kind of sectioned out, and there's this fear of love being the thing that would bring it all together. You know, he has his art, he has his, like, gallivanting, he has his family. They are all very separated, and I thought that was a really, really great point. And all three of them made great points that I hadn't necessarily, like, known before. They made a lot of points that I had, you know, picked up on, but they have a unique perspective, obviously, as the people playing the characters and writing them, that I really valued and appreciated hearing. And I was like, well, yes, you're right, Luke Thompson. Benedict's life is very separated, and love would tie it all together. Like, wow, your mind. Okay, so now it's time to get into the video. I thought it was a very interesting method to release footage, because it's, like, partially behind the scenes, then you get snippets of little lines and, like, scenes being filmed. So it's, like, giving a lot, but also not. I just thought it was a very clever way to do that, and I can't wait to analyze it, and I ate it up, and it was everything to me, and I freaked out, and I will obviously put my first-time reaction.
We have one more treat for our audience tonight. Jesus.
It's gonna be a
Please
great
find
right?
the first sneak peek
Or maybe something unrelated to
of
it.
Bridgerton season 4.
Oh my god, oh my fucking god. Oh!
Well, we begin another season. Welcome to the set of Bridgerton season 4.
Interesting. Oh, period. Boob. Yes, period. Ah! Ooh.
It is a spectacular night.
Ooh. Oh my god. Ah!
Do not worry, I will not tell my mother.
Welcome back.
But let's watch it again. I haven't watched it since, so let's see what. Okay. Wilfred. Okay.
We begin another season. Welcome
Beautiful
to the set
cinematography.
of Bridgerton season 4.
Not me. I've seen it, and I'm like.
It is a spectacular night.
Love. This is on another level.
Do not worry, I will not tell my mother.
Anthony with a beard is crazy. Anthony with a beard is crazy. Everything about that was crazy. Yeah, I actually need to watch it again.
We begin another season.
Love the music too. This is very like, this is
Welcome to the set.
just a different caliber. I feel. I fear. I anticipate in a good. No. Okay, sorry. I need to see them being cute and pushing their faces up against each other, being so big and Sophie Goathead. And her in her maid's outfit and little makeup, it's so good!
Welcome to the set of Bridgerton, Season 4.
Woo! Portia colored it. I don't know how I feel about his hair, but all these costumes are great.
It is a spectacular night.
It's just a different energy. Is this not a little bit more like high caliber? Or am I crazy? They all look like they're having such fun. It's such a family. Them at my cottage, him soaking wet.
I will not tell my mother.
Her in the maid's outfit is... That was them coming home. That was them coming home from my cottage in the carriage. That's them arriving at my cottage. He's soaking wet. There's a light. Okay, that was very like the Canthony library energy, which I still will never forgive or forget what they did to the library scene, but the light in the dark, him dripping, her and her mates. And then we see them arriving in front of Bridgerton house in the carriage. That's him bringing her back. That's him bringing her back and saying, "Oh, now you're my mom's maid." I mean, what? Everybody looks amazing. Everybody is amazing. It's the best thing that's ever happened to me. Couldn't be more excited. I literally, like, I don't want to speak too soon, right? Because I know things can go downhill, but this feels very, very promising to me. There's something about this that I'm like, they ate that. They're eating that. Like, they get it. They better give us a wedding, I have to say. Don't repeat the same mistakes you did with Canthony. I know they can't be together till the end. If any story they can't be together till the end, it really is Benedict and Sophie. Like, they really can't be together till the very end. But even if the, epilogue is their wedding, you better do that. Post up. But it just... it feels like it's on another level. Like, it feels like they really have a vision. They really understand what's happening. It's very specific. The cinematography and the lighting looks so much better to me than season 3, quite frankly. There's just a different energy. It's just a different, the lighting especially, the lighting's so good. And the costumes and the makeup and, like, Sophie not wearing much makeup as a maid, like, I just think it's gonna be the gag of the century, actually. And y'all don't know what's coming. And y'all don't understand, but I do. I see the vision. And I'm just grateful and thankful to everybody involved, and it has given me so much joy. And I don't know, there's, I really couldn't have anticipated having this, like, extra emotional attachment to this season, because I really didn't put two and two together that I felt so similarly to Sophie, and that I see myself in her so much. But this representation, I think, it's very, obviously representation for other, there's obviously the Asian representation, I'm not talking about that, but just specifically to, characters, and I feel like we haven't seen anybody like Sophie before, and the way that they're talking about it, the way that it's setting up, I just have a really good feeling about it. I have a really, really good feeling about it, and I couldn't be happier about how it's looking. I don't know what I need to do, guys. I don't know what I need to do. I don't know who I need to contact. I'm telling you, put me on the press tour. Put me on the press tour. Make me the resident Bridgerton journalist, because I just want to talk to them about this stuff. Like, I just would love to have conversations about all this with them, like, really dig into Benedict and Sophie as characters individually and together, and just every element. I mean, this really did a great job illuminating certain things, and honestly, I would love to talk to Jess. Like, the way she's talking about Benophie, I'm like, you so get it, and, well, yes, and absolutely, and let's talk about it. I don't know what else I need to do to prove my loyalty and devotion. But I just would love to be a part of it in any way, and I love it so much. I love it so much. and I'm so excited. I'm so grateful, and get me on the press tour. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. You know I would eat that. You know I would eat that down. Okay? It's Benophie season! It's Benophie season! I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. It is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So, let me know what you thought. Let me know what you noticed. Questions, comments, concerns, opinions. Did you attend this? Did you like it? How do you feel? How do you feel about what I said? Let me know down below. Like, comment, subscribe. And I will see you for yet another Bridgerton video. But of course, very soon.